Well, Ms. Hughes, in the instance of the job type of a situation, because we do have various listeners that are tuning in who probably have been in similar situations like Tanya. What do you suggest for a person who is experiencing something like that at work, where they feel like they're being pulled down either by the employer or their employees, where they feel that they can't function on a day-to-day basis and be happy and successful at work? One of the things I think to being happy at work is choosing a job that you would absolutely do for free, but you found a way to make it pay you back financially. I think that that is the key for myself and what I try to do. However, I know that everyone is not as fortunate to have had that epiphany. So how do you feel that works?
It's a difficult situation too.
Well, it's going to be a very, very controversial subject because we're going to talk about all types of beauty, whether it's physical, whether it's inner beauty. We're going to talk about hair textures, hair types, skin colors, things that kind of pull people's plugs a little bit. Now, there's a lot of TV shows in production right now that focus on beauty. You know, a lot of reality shows, a lot of it's surrounding like cosmetic surgery. It's a billion-dollar business. Beauty basically makes the world go around. Now, who do you think sets the standards for beauty?
Yes.
Is it white America? Is it the thin models we see walking down the runway? Is it our parents when we grow up as children? Who sets the standards for beauty in terms of how it affects us and how we react? Anyone? And you know what? We're going to have a very exciting show today, Hurricane. We've been talking about this for weeks and weeks and weeks. It's about alternative lifestyles, especially what? Men on the down low and the women who love them. We're going to explore this subject. A lot of men that are on the down low have been incarcerated. And what a lot of women who have low self-esteem, a lot of times are attracted to men who are incarcerated because they have a certain amount of control. The man has to become dependent upon them, something that they were looking for from a child. The man has to call them for things. He's isolated and he needs attention and affection at that time.
Exactly.
Some prison systems now, from what I understand, they have conjugal visits where you can have sex when you go to visit your man in prison. But what a lot of women don't understand is that a lot of these men are raped in jail. They don't talk about it because a real man is not going to come out of jail and say I was raped unless he's trying to save other people from that experience. But most of the time, they don't talk about it, but they're forcibly raped. A lot of them, probably over 75% of the men that go to jail have either been raped or had to have sex with a man at some point in jail. They don't give condoms in jail. So women who have men in jail or thinking about dating a man in prison should really, really, really exercise common sense because they're putting themselves in a very, very dangerous situation.
It's true.
It's a very dangerous knowledge. And today we're going to have a very exciting as well as important show on America. And if we're indeed ready for our first, what you just said just a minute ago, was about being elected. And it was very important to me because I found out that presidents are not really elected. They're selected. And it's usually through bloodline affiliations. But everyday commoners like ourselves usually don't know that information. We have a tendency to depend on the media, what we read in the newspaper, our friends and relatives, to give us information to keep us on track, so to speak. But it's one of the things that I found out that of the 40 presidents or so that we've had, at least 33 of those presidents were genetically connected to two people in Europe. One of them is England's King Alfred the Great, and the second person is Charlemagne, the famous monarch of the 9th century France. But a lot of people don't know that. Is that a coincidence merely, or is there something greater there? A lot of people believe that you have to be in a specific bloodline in order to even be in the White House as the quote-unquote president. Even when the Clintons were in the White House, they say that Bill wasn't in the bloodline, but Hillary was in the bloodline. So he was more or less manipulated like a puppet through her and the information that she provided through whatever she gets from whomever. But
you really think that that's true?
Yeah, I do believe that. Because if we've only had 40-something presidents and 33 of them have all been genetically connected to the same people through blood, I don't think that that's a coincidence. Not that that's going to change anything, but it gives you something to think about in terms of whether or not we're really ever going to have a black president. And the fact that Senator Obama is half white and half black, maybe his bloodline connection is through the white side. We'll never know that, and maybe you understand.